Welcome back. Today I'm going to be discussing something that's in the headlines today. It's this commercial that's behind me. It's the Kellogg's brand cereal company promoting cereal not for breakfast but for dinner. It has gotten this company into a lot of hot water, and it has even stirred up a boycott of their products. Now, I've talked about some of the dangers of cereal and the milk combination on what it does to the body. Now, if you're just coming across me or this video, I've done many shows, and there has been a lot of medical literature on the mixing of milk and the absorption of certain vitamins and minerals that you're supposed to be getting from a healthy diet or from cereal. A lot of times the cereals, no, on the box of cereal, it literally says fortified with minerals and vitamins. Now, the moment you add the milk to it, it stops those absorptions. But let me bring you back what has gotten this company into a lot of trouble. Like I said before, they're promoting this for dinner. They're promoting or pushing cereal as a viable food source for Americans, not just American, globally, to substitute for a healthy meal. Now pay attention.
When I say cereal, you say dinner. Cereal.
Dinner!
Cereal.
Dinner! Chicken!
You can have the night off, chicken.
You can't make this stuff up. Don't, the healthy choice, the chicken for dinner. No, we don't want you. We're eating cereal now. Did you get that? It's subliminal. Don't worry about the chicken, that healthy protein that you're going to be getting. We got cereal for you for dinner. Don't worry about the chicken. All those nutrients you're going to get from that healthy chicken meal. Let me go back to this.
When I say cereal, you say dinner. Cereal.
Dinner!
Cereal.
Dinner! Chicken!
You can have the night off, chicken.
Okay, I'll go marinate.
Cereal. Cereal.
What do you see behind me? What is the food matrix? That's it right there. Let your head wrap around that. What is a food matrix? Now, before I proceed with this, I'm going to try to speed through this as fast as I possibly can. But I'm going to have to ask you to watch this in its entirety. There's a lot of information here. I'm going to breeze through it as fast as I can. And what you get here today will help you and your loved ones have a very healthy and enjoyable life. Now, before I proceed, I'm not a doctor, but I'm playing one here today. So hopefully you'll take me more seriously. Now, before I proceed, I need you to watch this. It's an old trick that these companies have been doing for a long time. And it's quite effective.
I'm not a doctor, but I play one on TV. If your child had a cough, you get just with the doctor. I'm not a doctor, but I play one on TV. If your child had a cough, you get just with the doctor ordered. For your cough, you play Dr. L, even trying medicine you originally bought for your child. You need one of the adult formulas from Vicks. For the coughs adults get, for the strength adults need. Formula 44 for cough, 44D for cough with congestion, and 44M for cough with I'm not a doctor, but I play one on TV.
I'm not a doctor, but I play one on TV. Pushing a product from the pharmaceutical company. It's something they've been doing for a long time. It's a form of propaganda. They put the beautiful actor up there pushing their products. Like I said before, it's a quite effective technique that they have been doing for a long time. This commercial is from the 80s. So that gives you an idea of how long they've been doing this. I'm not a doctor, but I play one on TV. Now, this cereal commercial that you just saw, you may ask, who's behind it? Everything that's wrong with that scenario, but look how they push it. Cereal for dinner. Now I'm gonna get into all the reasons why it's bad, on why a family that has to eat cereal for dinner may not be in a good financial place. But of course, here's their solution.
The cereal category has always been quite affordable, and it tends to be a great destination when consumers are under pressure. So some of the things that we're doing is first messaging. We got to reach the consumer where they are. So we're advertising about cereal for dinner. If you think about the cost of cereal for a family versus what they might otherwise do, that's going to be much more affordable. The other places that we like to go is we talk about making sure we have the right pack at the right price in the right place.
Look at all the brands that they're pushing. Just take a look at that.
So having a different size pack that'll have a different price point, that'll take some pressure off the consumer while they're shopping. So those are some of the things that we're doing, but in general, the cereal category is a place that a lot of folks might come to because the price of a bowl of cereal with milk and with fruit is less than $1. So you can imagine why a consumer under pressure might find that to be a good place to go.
Right. I'm all for innovation in marketing, but the idea of having cereal for dinner, is there the potential for that to land the wrong way?
We don't think so. In fact, it's landing really well right now, Carl.
That didn't age with it. And I can keep going with this. Like I said, I'm gonna breeze through this, but pay attention.
We look at all of our data. Of course, we would know that breakfast cereal is the #1 choice for in-home consumption. We understand that for breakfast. It turns out that over 25% of our consumption is outside the breakfast occasion. A lot of it's at dinner, and that occasion continues to grow, as well as the snacking occasion. But cereal for dinner is something that is probably more on trend now, and we would expect to continue as that consumer is under pressure.
This is the mindset of the people who push these products. And I'm gonna go on and talk about some of the dangers of eating cereal, not just for dinner, for breakfast. Once you see this, you're gonna be so alarmed that you're gonna pass this video around and direct people to what you're hearing here today. Now, this has started such an uproar, it has hit mainstream media. Now, this is the Breakfast Club. Fitting place for this.
But in general, the cereal category is a place that a lot of folks might come to because the price of a bowl of cereal with milk and with fruit is less than $1. So you can imagine why a consumer under pressure might find that to be a good place to go.
Right. I'm all for innovation in marketing, but the idea of having cereal for dinner, is there the potential for that to land the wrong way?
We don't think so. In fact, it's landing really well right now, Carl. When we look at all of our data, of course we would know that breakfast cereal is the #1 choice for in-home consumption. We understand that for breakfast. It turns out that over 25% of our consumption is outside the breakfast occasion. A lot of it's at dinner, and that occasion continues to grow, as well as the snacking occasion. But cereal for dinner is something that is probably more on trend now, and we would expect to continue as that consumer is under pressure.
Hey, yo, Gary Pilnick, I need you to shut the F up forever. Okay, shut your rich, privileged, disconnected ass up forever. First of all, two things. wrong with this statement. And Gary, you would know this if you decided to actually have conversations with the people you're talking about. Well, people been eating cereal for dinner, okay? We've been eating breakfast for dinner, and not because we wanted to, all right? And how about this? The cereal some of us had to eat for dinner wasn't even Kellogg's. You know why? Because we couldn't afford it. Great value, everything, all right? Store bread, everything. We couldn't afford Rice Krispies, so we had the toasted rice, all right? We didn't have Kellogg's Frosted Flakes. We had Great Value Frosted Flakes. It's the difference between Kellogg's Frosted Flakes, okay? Because they had Tony the Tiger. Great Value Frosted Flakes had a polar bear who didn't even have a name, as far as I knew, okay? And he might not have even been a real polar bear because he had ski goggles on, gloves, and a scarf. Having to wear that defeats the whole purpose of being a polar bear, so he might not have even really been one. Kellogg's Raisin Bran, they had the sun on the box. Great Value Raisin Bran does not. You know why? Because the sun don't shine on the poor in this country.
Okay. Perfect. Listen, I couldn't have said that any better than Charlemagne right there. The poor and impoverished people have been getting cereal for morning breakfast for quite a long time. Now, this has contributed to the poor diet. So a lot of health issues that are prominent in certain communities around the country because of the dietary suggestions from the CEOs at Kellogg. Now, when I go over this and you look at some of the things that happen once you start going down the road of eating cereal for breakfast, not to even mention dinner, you're going to understand just how dangerous that the milk and cereal combination is, and not just is, has been in this country or globally for a very long time. Now, let me, I'm going to show you a video here. Like I said, I'm going to breeze through this stuff for the sake of time. There are certain ingredients, certain compounds in dairy products that interfere with the absorption of vitamins and minerals. So the cereal, if you're expecting to get any type of vitamins and minerals from a box of cereal, you're not going to get it, not to the recommended daily allowances that is prescribing, that is to say that's going to give you. You're not going to get that because the moment you add the milk to the cereal, it stops the absorption. Now, one of those things that it can lead to is anemia. Now, listen to this. This is a quick video.
Thursday night for parents and kids who love milk. While milk itself is not inherently bad for you, when it supplements a more diverse diet, it can lead to several medical issues.
News 8's Megan Bunchman spoke with doctors from Helen DeVos Children's Hospital. She joins us now with this warning. Megan?
Well, a warning tonight for parents with the young ones and teenage girls, as doctors say the overconsumption of cow's milk may lead to severe anemia.
Got milk? Well, you might just want to put that back in the fridge. As West Michigan doctors sound the alarm this week after a pediatric patient was admitted to the ICU for severe iron deficiency anemia.
Recently, we did have a child who suffered a stroke from iron deficiency anemia. And it's just absolutely heartbreaking because, you know, stroke can have lasting neurologic consequences.
Dr. Beth Kurt with Helen DeVos Children's Hospital says this isn't the first time the hospital has seen an increase in severe anemia in kids. She says they typically admit a couple of kids each month for the same issue. And while their symptoms might not be as severe as a stroke, Kurt says these patients are over-consuming cow's milk and in turn depriving themselves of an iron-rich diet.
Cow's milk is a little bit irritating to the intestines, and so we end up losing a little bit of iron in the stool. So we're just not getting a good amount of iron in the diet when the primary food that a child is taking in is cow's milk.
A 2021 survey from the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services found 13% of Michigan kids who are under the age of 5 and whose families use WIC were iron deficient.
It's a lot about moderation. So in the young age group among toddlers, what we find is that kids are really drinkaholics, and at the point where they're switching from breast milk or formula to cow's milk, we find that they take in an excessive amount of cow's milk, which, as it turns out, is a really terrible source of iron.
Infants, toddlers, and teenage girls are at the highest risk of iron deficient anemia, and Kurt says cow's milk irritates the intestines and causes the body to lose any stored iron.
If kids would just decrease the amount of milk that...
This is the thing. The iron stops, milk stops the absorption of iron. Iron is a very important mineral used in the transportation of oxygen to the brain through the blood. Without iron, you're losing that. Now, a whole list of medical issues over years and years of this can lead to a massive iron deficiency in the body, which can lead to anemia, brain fog, a list of medical issues that can go down the road of having you with a very unpleasant lifespan, all because of the consumption of milk. Now, not to say that milk is inherently bad, but it's how it's using it, how you're using it. Now, when you're eating food, let's just say you're eating something like a very iron-rich meal. If you're drinking milk, let's say with your dinner, or you had milk a few hours prior, that iron-rich meal that you're eating, your body will not even absorb the iron that you're getting from the meal, because there are studies here that says after you consume anything dairy, you need to wait. There are some studies that say you need to wait up to 3 to 4 hours before your body can be in a state where it can start accepting or receiving the iron that you're putting into your body. So if you had just had something with dairy or milk, cow's milk in it, and you're eating an iron-rich meal like a steak, you may not be getting the iron that you think you're getting because you consume the dairy. And remember, you have to monitor this stuff, because there's dairy in just about everything. Well, not everything, but in a large amount of products that we consume. Now, one of them is if you're snacking. Remember I said, in the previous video, I showed you that the children in school, for their lunch, they were giving them a carton of milk. So they would give them the food, an iron-rich meal that they, that is state prescribed. But alongside of that, they're giving them milk. So the iron that they're supposed to be getting out of that milk and the nutrients that they're supposed to be getting out of the milk, they're not receiving it because of the milk. Now, if you're snacking in between meals, remember I said about the dairy, sometimes it can take up to 3 to 4 hours for that milk to go through your body before you're able to consume food to get the iron. Things such as Doritos include milk and cheese in it. So if you were snacking in between meals and you had dairy, you may not be getting the iron that you need. Keep this in mind. Iron is essential for bodily functions. I can't express that more. You are not even interacting with your environment correctly if you're iron deficient. You're not even thinking properly. There's a brain fog. There are a list of problems. Now, this goes on. Let me, now this is a quick video. This is me just going online. I don't know, I'm not associated with anybody, any of these videos that I pull up. This is just me doing a quick search on milk and iron interaction. And there's hours upon hours, thousands of hours of doctors and professionals who have done the work who are saying the same exact thing that I'm saying now. Now let me let this play.
Number 2, cow's milk protein effect and absorption. The proteins present in cow's milk, particularly casein and whey proteins, combine with iron in the gut to form insoluble complexes. These complexes are not easily absorbed by the body. As a result, iron absorption is hindered, and the iron that should be utilized by the body gets flushed out instead. Over time, this can lead to iron deficiency and subsequent anemia. Number 2, cow's milk protein effect and absorption. The proteins present in cow's milk, particularly casein and whey proteins, combine with iron in the gut to form insoluble complexes. These complexes are not easily absorbed by the body. As a result, iron absorption is hindered, and the iron that should be utilized by the body gets flushed out instead. Over time, this can lead to iron deficiency and subsequent anemia. Number 2, cow's milk protein effect and absorption.
Beautiful said. Let me share something with you. As I was trying to take better care of my body, my health, I started researching all this stuff and came across, different ways, to help me have a healthy, long, and enjoyable life. I started watching and monitoring every single thing I put into my body. Came across this information. You remember, this is all readily online. These are just videos that I pull up just doing the research to see what do I need to do to live a healthy life. I'm going around, taking multivitamins, taking vitamins, trying to take better care of myself. And I've talked many times before about this food matrix. As I was trying to make it out of this food matrix by taking better care of myself, this food matrix is, they push this diet on you. You go, a vast majority of your life eating like this, with these foods, not knowing, how it's affecting you. And then at the end of it, you wind up in the care of the pharmaceutical companies. So in my attempt to evade all that, I started taking vitamins. And wouldn't you know that I'm just going around picking up some vitamin C to help with a cold, everything that's associated with vitamin C. When I go get the vitamin C, you know what I found on the back of it as one of the ingredients? This product contains milk ingredients. This product contains milk ingredients. There was milk on my vitamin C. Now, it's not just iron. Milk inhibits the absorption of vitamin C. Let that wrap around your head. Who would sell vitamin C with milk on it, knowing that you're not going to get the vitamin C that you're thinking you're supposed to be getting because there is milk on it? That's the food matrix. You're thinking you're helping yourself, but in actuality, you're just spinning the wheel and you're getting very little benefit from this because they added the milk. The moment you add the milk to it, you're not getting the benefit that you thought you were getting. Now, it's not just limited to milk. Pay attention to this. This is another quick video.
Hi, I'm Cara Miller, and I'm the Lifestylista. Today we're going to be talking about foods that inhibit the absorption of iron. Iron deficiency is one of the most common deficiencies in the United States of America. And this is particularly important because iron is crucial for so many processes, including the transportation of oxygen in the body. Now, if you have enough of an iron deficiency, you'll have iron deficiency anemia, and that could affect your performance at work, it could affect your cognitive development when you're a child, it could affect, oh my goodness, so many aspects of your life. And one big thing is to look at, one, what are the foods I'm eating that are actually stopping my body from absorbing the iron? First and foremost, you look at calcium. If you eat a large amount of calcium in the same meal, you may very well find you're not absorbing as much iron. Same thing goes with eggs. Eggs contain a protein that binds the molecules, the iron molecules, and so you don't absorb as much iron either. And then walnuts, phytates, also significantly reduce the amount of iron you absorb. And then look at your tea, your oxalates. Completely, up to 60% of the iron you would have had if you're having large quantities of tea, not absorbed. And finally, polyphenols. Coffee, cocoa also reduce the amount of iron you absorb. So there you go. Now you know which foods in your diet inhibit the absorption of iron.
Very well said. Now remember, if you're going to escape this food matrix, you're going to have to inform yourself. Because remember, the person who put this cocktail together knew very well that the consumption of this, you're not going to get the vitamin C that you're supposed to get because there's milk added to it. This is all online. This is easy to look up. Now, I talked about the importance of the iron, the role of iron in memory. Here's another quick video. I'm keeping it pretty brief.
If you have anemia, your blood doesn't carry enough oxygen from the lungs to the rest of your body. When the brain is deprived, it may affect your mental health.
When there is anemia, the proper nutrition and proper food of the brain is not maintained, which in the long run, the capability of the brain decreases.
Older adults face a higher risk of anemia, and now researchers believe it could be sapping them of their memory. Anemia affects as many as 23% of seniors. Studies find it raises their risk of dementia by up to 60%.
A major cause of anemia is iron deficiency, which is largely a reversible condition. Addressing the issue early may help older adults keep a sound mind. Problem is, many of these people are weak when it comes to getting screened for anemia.
In some cases, yeah, we do not know because people usually do not check their blood all the time. They're reluctant to check their physical examination by the doctor. But whoever does it regularly, we can pick up from them very early.
Anemia, along with many conditions, including heart function, are linked to dementia. Treating them might ward off mental decline.
If it is too late, then damage is in such extent it cannot be reversed.
In the case of anemia, eating foods high in iron helps prevent the most common form. Food for thought in keeping your brain strong. For Lee Memorial.
Did you get that? Let me go back to this. They're showing you can be eating all this meat, an iron-rich meal. But if you're consuming milk, you're not getting the iron out of that. You are not getting the iron out of that because what the milk does when it's consumed, what it does to the iron, they're not compatible. You know, a lot of people know you almost have to be a chemist when you're eating your food if you're going to have a healthy life. You want to drink milk, you have to know there are certain times of the day you can drink it, and certain times of the day you can't, because remember, up to 3 to 4 hours before you eat that iron-rich meal, you need to wait before you consume milk, because you're not going to get the nutrients out of it. So if you're snacking in between meals, guess what? You're pushing that window further and further away, and that you're constantly in an iron deficiency. It's hard to make up. Remember, this can be reversed easily. Number one, by cutting back the milk or watching when you consume it. So remember, it even counts for your morning coffee. If you're drinking coffee with your iron-rich meal, you're eating 2 eggs or bacon. If you eat bacon, you think you're gonna get the iron from that. If you're having coffee with that, you're not getting the iron you're supposed to be getting. That's why this whole milk situation is very dangerous. And remember, just in America, 1/3 of the American population, North America, is iron deficient. And you can see why. A lot of times it's because we drink a lot of coffee with milk. We're drinking cereal. Eating cereal with milk. We're snacking in between meals. These snacks have dairy in it. It's a constant cycle where you're not putting yourself in a state where you're able to receive this iron-rich meal. Now, allow me to know. If you're still here watching this, I want to say thank you, because a lot of people hear this stuff and they move on. But there's a lot of good information in this. I have fun doing this stuff, researching on just the diet, because I can pass it on to my loved ones. This is how you're supposed to eat. By me changing my diet, I spread the word to others that they hopefully they'll spread it, and it'll keep you out of the hospital. It'll kick you out of the food matrix. Because remember, that this was a major one. I'm not going to overlook this. They were putting milk products on vitamin C. And I'm going to get to what milk does to vitamin C. When you mix them, they don't mix. It's the same thing as iron. They're putting it on the vitamin C. No, it doesn't stop there. I have a bag of cashews here. Looked on the ingredients. Remember, when someone's eating cashews, it's a delicious snack. Has a lot of beneficial minerals, including iron. They were putting dairy on the cashews. No, you have to ask yourself, the people who are doing this, they have all the information that you're seeing here today. You have to ask yourself, what is the mindset, what is the purpose of people of these companies putting this on it? It's the food matrix. They have all the information that I'm giving you here today. So I'm trying to eat a healthy diet. Stay away from the dairy, because I know it's going to interfere with my vitamin C, interfere with my iron absorption, as well as other minerals and vitamins. So I'm going to stay away from the dairy. But what do you know? It's on the vitamin C, and it was on the cashews. So I can't express how important it is to read the ingredients before you start consuming this stuff. Listen, it gets deeper than that. I was buying spinach out the grocery store. And on the spinach, it says this product has a milk product on a bag of spinach. What is the purpose of putting milk on spinach if I'm trying to use the spinach to increase my iron absorption? And staying away from the dairy, because I know what it does. On spinach, freshly cut spinach in the grocery store, they're putting a dairy products. What made me look at it, as I'm looking at the spinach, I noticed that there was a film on it. I said, man, what is this film on this spinach? Looked at the package, and there you go. There is dairy on the spinach. You can't make this stuff up. This is a food matrix. They'll put you in a loop where if you think you're going to eat healthy, it's almost as though, I'm going to say it. There are companies out there who are purposely doing it. I'm not going to be around the bush with this, because the same information that I'm sharing with you today, they know all this. And if they do, and then once you show them this, they'll continue to peddle this stuff. So you have to inform yourself. You can't go to, let me go back to this guy. You can't go back to this guy.
To when consumers are
The CEO of Kellogg's. You can't go back to him and say, hey, look, can you give us some healthy choices? You know, you can't push this stuff out because it's detrimental to the American population's health. He doesn't care about that. It's all about the numbers. They're pushing a product. They can care less about your health. They're not concerned with that. They're there pushing their product. He doesn't care about your health. Let me play this really quick. This is the importance of iron for toddlers.
A toddler who is deficient in iron may experience decreased growth, behavioral problems, and may progress into iron deficiency anemia. If iron deficiency progresses in an iron deficiency anemia, the toddler may experience weakness and fatigue, a decreased cognitive and social development, and a decreased immune function. With the decreased immune function, the prevalence of illness will be more common. To ensure that your toddlers are obtaining enough iron, you should limit their cow's milk consumption to 16 to 24 ounces per day. You should offer small amounts of iron-rich foods and
limit the consumption of milk. And I'm gonna add to that, and when you're consuming it. You know, you have toddlers consuming it. You know, there's dairy in breast formula, and formula for babies, soy. All those inhibit iron absorption, even if they're putting it inside of it. If they're fortifying the milk, the baby formula, if they're even fortifying it with vitamins, guess what? You're defeating the purpose. Is just like the vitamin C. You're not going to get what you think you're supposed to be getting. So that baby is starting off its life in a state where it's not getting enough iron. Remember just how important iron is to the body. It's essential. It's how you get oxygen to the brain. If you're interfering with that, you're not interacting with your environment. Cognitive disabilities, anemia, a list of problems can occur when you start going down the road of iron deficiency. Now, before I go any further, you see here behind, what is the food matrix? Everything that I brought up here today makes you wonder, what type of world are we living in where they're pushing this stuff? What are we dealing with here? Now, let me give you some information. Let me tell you about the dangers of milk. I just did a quick search. How long after drinking milk can I take antibiotics? Do not take antibiotics with milk. These products can interact with antibiotics and affect how your body absorbs it. It'll stop medicine from being absorbed into your body. Just milk. Something as simple and clean as milk. It's highly dangerous if not consumed properly. And this is the thing. There literally should be a warning label on every carton of milk sold in this country, because how often are we consuming this milk with cereal? And you look at how cereal is packaged and promoted with all the negative side effects that you get from cereal. It's pushed to children through cartoon figures like Tony the Tiger, the Trix Bunny. These things, or Lucky Charms, the leprechaun. These things are pushed to children. And you just heard what the lady just said, that you need to limit the consumption of this stuff because you're going to be putting your child in a deficit. Right here, just a quick search. Be careful with the milk. You need to wait at least 3 hours after taking the milk before consuming these products. And that's just medication. There needs to be a 3-hour window before you take medication, 3-hour window before you take an iron-rich meal if you expect to get any benefit from it. And we're feeding this to our children for breakfast. A quick search. Iron deficiency, weakened immune system. Iron deficiency can affect the body's immune system, making it harder to respond to infection. Iron is necessary for the development of immune cells and for the body to generate specific response to infection. Iron is also a component of the hemoglobin, the blood pigment that carries oxygen and red blood cells. So if you are iron deficient, you're going down a road of many medical problems. That's how essential iron is to the development of your body, to the development of your organs, and the development of your brain. And remember, we're starting off children in this country with a milk-based diet. Iron is necessary for normal development of the immune system. Its deficiency affects the capacity to have an adequate immune response that is necessary for the immune cell proliferation and the generation of specific response to infection. This is how you fight off different diseases, different pathogens, anything. It starts with the iron. You're not even thinking properly if you don't have iron, because you're not getting the adequate amount of oxygen to your brain. So no matter which state you're in right now, if you're not eating an iron-rich diet and you're not staying away from the milk and things, and you're putting yourself in a place where you're absorbing it, no matter how you're moving through your life, how you're interacting with your environment, whatever you do, you can increase that by eliminating the milk or eating it in specific windows. Almost 1/3 of the world population has an iron deficiency. 1/3 of the worldwide population. You'd be surprised how many people don't know the information that I'm sharing with you here today. 1/3, and it's greatly to do with the milk. A lot of it has to do with the milk. How long after drinking milk can I take iron? According to the Mayo Clinic, you should avoid milk and other certain foods at least an hour or more before to 2 hours after taking iron supplements. These foods include cheese, yogurts, eggs, spinach, tea, coffee, and whole grain breads, cereals, and brain. All those can interrupt your iron absorption. Remember, the people at Kellogg's, they know this information. They know it. And let's just say, give them the benefit of the doubt, that they didn't know it. You think they're going to stop any of the practices that they have? You think they're going to stop pushing cereal for dinner? You literally saw them push away the healthy choice in favor of cereal. They pushed away. They shamed the chicken for coming in there thinking he was going to be eating for dinner. They shamed him. You know, there's a lot of information here, but let me take you to this. Now I was going to do a separate video on this, but I think all of this goes together for the sake of time. Now, for the sake of time, I'm gonna do a part 2 on this one. You know, I made this longer than I wanted to, but for the sake of time, I'm gonna talk about fluoride. It's just as deadly as the milk. So if you found this stuff interesting that I talked about, you know, check back later. I'm gonna be doing one on fluoride, because once you hear this, just how dangerous fluoride is. And remember, fluoride does the same thing as milk does. It stops the absorption of certain vitamins and minerals in the body. I'm going to show the same thing I just showed here. People have done studies on this, doctors, people who want to research this stuff just like I do. It's all there. So I'll do a part 2, and thank you, and I hope you enjoyed the show.